This is our new question format for time series-based questions. It might look intimidating. Let's discuss what's actually new here. This is the old question format with which you might be familiar. The forecast options were outcome ranges, such as less than 70,000, between 70,000 and 90,000, etc. You would then put a probability on each outcome range. For example, you might think there's a 7% chance the outcome will be below this line, or a 22% chance it'll be between these two lines. Let's take a closer look. The numbers on the right are the crowd's aggregate forecast for the 5 intervals. What are the key takeaways from the crowd's forecast? Well, for one, I want to know what the point forecast is, meaning the single quantity that's smack in the middle of all the possible options. This is typically what people provide when they make a forecast. Here, we see that the forecast distributions are roughly symmetrical. The 11 is a bit higher than the 7, and the 26 a bit higher than 22, so I think the point forecast is a little bit above the center of this middle bin. Many people just want to know this value when thinking about a forecast, but I think we should provide a bit more. At the very least, we should provide a measure of uncertainty, i.e., are most of the likely outcomes narrowly clustered around this point or more broadly distributed? A common way to communicate this is a prediction interval. For example, an 80% prediction interval is the range of values you think will include the actual outcome 80% of the time, meaning a 10% chance it'll be above the range and a 10% chance it'll be below the range. Let's estimate the 80% prediction interval here. At the top, it's basically right on this boundary, since the crowd thinks it's an 11% chance it'll be above that line. On the bottom, it's a little bit above this line, since we want the 10% demarcation and not the 7% demarcation. What we now have is a forecast point estimate, an 80% prediction interval, based on the crowd's forecast for this question. If these are the key takeaways for this forecast, why not just forecast these things directly? One cool feature of thinking about time series forecasting in terms of a point estimate and prediction interval is it's simple to extend our projections forward to forecast multiple time periods. Let's do that here. So here we've added 2 more year-long time periods. When forecasting, I usually start with my point estimate. I'll say the upward trend is going to taper off a bit. But I'm even more uncertain when forecasting further out, so I'll slightly broaden my prediction interval. And I think this trend will basically persist for the next year, though that does mean I've run out of room here, so just use your imagination. Ultimately, I've made 3 different sets of forecasts for 2021 H2, 2022 H2, and 2023 H2. This is exactly what our new question format accommodates. In this example, I'm forecasting 3 different time periods, 2021, 2022, and 2023. Just like before, you have the historical data on the left. On the right, the middle dots are your point estimates. So let's see, for 2021, I think we'll stay basically on trend, and I'll estimate 0.94. For 2022, let's say the trend will start to taper off a bit, and so I'll bring it down to 0.9. Now, I've not yet completed these forecasts. To complete these forecasts, I have to add the 80% prediction interval. The upper dots are the top of my 80% prediction interval, the value for which there's a 90% chance the answer is below and a 10% chance the answer is above. This seems like a roughly sensible prediction interval. The more uncertain I am, the larger it should be. The lower dots are the bottom of my 80% prediction interval, the value for which there is a 10% chance the answer is below and a 90% chance the answer is above. That seems roughly symmetrical, although it doesn't actually have to be. Now, I've completed my forecast for 2021 and 2022. Maybe that's all I want to forecast. If I don't move the dots for a time period, such as 2023, I don't forecast that time period. Note that circles turn green after I've moved them to make it clear which time periods I've actually forecasted. Then, just like before, I write down my rationale. and submit my forecast. And that's it.